The Honourable Minister presented this year's budget and painted a rather optimistic view of the economy. In recent years, we've been accustomed to a number of measures being announced, but being rolled over year after year, and budget after budget. Will this year be any different? Given that the government is in its penultimate year of its mandate, the pressure to deliver is mounting. The government has adopted some populist measures, and with a number of projects taking shape, the economy is on the up. GDP growth fell slightly short of expectations, with the economy growing at 3.9% for 2017-18 compared to an initial forecast of 4.1%. Delays in project implementation continues to constrain growth. Out of a budget of 18.8 billion rupees, only 13.6 billion was actually spent. However, the outlook for 2018 and 19 seems more positive, with a number of projects, both private and public sector, actually underway. For example, the smart cities of Mocha or Cap Tamarin, or the government projects such as the A1-M1 Link Road, the Phoenix Roundabout, or the Metro Express are all actually happening. Now let's hear from Rajiv on the public sector services.
Thank you, Tony. The public sector measures reflected a journey of continuity. No major transformational policies were announced. The core of the public sector budget resided in an increased focus to consolidate our existing public infrastructure, complemented with newly announced projects to further enhance our potential. But the challenge remains in meeting those promises despite uncertain revenue conditions for the betterment of the public.
Indeed, Rajiv, with the big investment infrastructure projects, specifically roads, it will be difficult to maintain a system of free usage. And unless users are discouraged to use cars, there will be little switching effect onto the Metro Express once operational. In the past, around 27% of petrol taxes collected were used to fund roads, and this is likely to continue in the future. And now, let's hear from John on financial services.
No big surprises for the financial services sector, as most of the measures were expected. We welcome the reform of the global business sector, which includes changes in its tax regime, phasing out of the Category 2 global business license companies, and introduction of enhanced substance conditions. Those measures were necessary to meet the pressing demands of the OECD, and we believe that they will bring a new impetus to the sector. Along with this, we also note the introduction of a specific fiscal regime for banks, which hopefully will not increase the tax burden. FinTech is also moving in the right direction with the creation of new licensing activities for digital assets. So Tony, there's hope for the sector.
Yes, John, the integration of the global business sector to the domestic economy is certainly welcome. And the proposed changes to the tax framework not only ensures that Mauritius is compliant to international norms, but also remains competitive on the international landscape. Now let's hear from Olivier on the manufacturing and hospitality sector.
I think the measures from a hospitality perspective have matched to some extent the expectation of the operators, with a dedicated terminal in Port Louis for cruises and the arrival of 2 new aeroplanes. This will help sustain the number of tourist arrivals on the island. However, I think operators will be slightly disappointed from a security front. There was no mention of anything around the fish farms, and yes, there was mention of tagging of the boats, but will this really be sufficient to appease operators around the island on the security front? From a manufacturing side, overall the measures feel slightly disappointing for a sector which is struggling. The facilitation of work permits is a positive measure, but I think we have to realize that if Mauritius is to become a high-income economy, we need to open up our frontiers to foreign labor and to foreign capital. There's a lot of mention as well of the Africa strategy for Mauritian entrepreneurs in the manufacturing sector, but will the measures really be sufficient to really encourage entrepreneurs to go on the continent, set up and start trading?
I believe, Olivier, that the competitiveness of our export sector is continuously being challenged, and many of our local companies are looking to delocalize their operation outside Mauritius, and Africa could be one of them. Overall, the economy is showing some healthy fundamentals. The government has done well to contain its recurrent expenditure and reduce the overall deficit. The deficit projection for 2018 and 19 continues to be supported by the level of external grants as well as transfer from special reserves, while the public debt continues its downward trend. The government has resisted the temptation to hike taxes while providing some populist measures. We are happy of the government's efforts to work within the existing fiscal constraints. However, we need to be conscious of the government's off-balance sheet financing, which masks the country's real debt position.